The light has been left on for you, not because anyone expected you to arrive at a certain time, not because you were running late. It has simply been glowing quietly beside the lake, night after night, waiting patiently for anyone who might need a peaceful place to rest. As you settle into a comfortable position, allow yourself to notice that there is nothing you need to do right now, nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to understand, nothing you need to become. For this little while, you are simply arriving. Imagine a narrow woodland path stretching gently ahead of you beneath a sky scattered with quiet stars. The evening air is cool and fresh, carrying the comforting scent of pine trees and the gentle stillness of the lake nearby. Each slow step feels effortless. The busy world behind you grows quieter with every breath, fading naturally into the distance until only the peaceful sounds of the evening remain. Ahead, between the trees, a warm golden glow begins to appear. A small wooden cabin rests quietly beside the water. Its windows shine softly across the still lake, creating long reflections that shimmer gently beneath the moonlight. Everything about this place feels welcoming. There is nothing grand about it, nothing designed to impress. It simply feels peaceful, as though it has always been here, waiting without hurry. As you reach the old wooden porch, the gentle music drifting from inside greets you before you even touch the door. It blends beautifully with the quiet evening, never demanding your attention, only gently surrounding you with calm. You rest your hand upon the smooth wooden handle. The door opens easily. A comforting warmth immediately welcomes you inside. The fire burns softly within the stone fireplace, filling the room with a gentle amber glow. Shadows dance slowly across the timber walls. A comfortable chair sits nearby with a thick blanket folded neatly across one arm. Everything feels calm. Everything feels familiar. Without thinking, you quietly close the door behind you, not to shut the world away forever, only to give yourself permission to rest from it for a little while. The peaceful music continues quietly in the background as you slowly walk towards the chair beside the fire. The warmth wraps gently around you. The room feels safe, comfortable, unhurried. As you settle into the chair, notice how naturally your shoulders begin to soften. Your hands become pleasantly heavy. The muscles around your eyes slowly relax. Even your breathing seems to find its own gentle rhythm without needing any help from you. Nothing is being forced. Nothing needs to happen. Everything your body already knows how to do. It quietly remembers. Outside the window, the moon hangs peacefully above the still lake. Tiny ripples drift slowly across the water before disappearing again into perfect calm. Tall pine trees stand silently around the shoreline, their reflections stretching gently across the water beneath the stars. The cabin has stood here through countless evenings like this, welcoming, patient, unchanging. It has quietly offered warmth to everyone who has ever needed somewhere peaceful to rest, asking nothing from them except that they become comfortable and allow themselves to stay for as long as they need. As the fire crackles softly nearby and the gentle music continues to drift through the room, perhaps you can allow yourself to notice something simple. You are safe here. There is nowhere else you need to be. No expectations waiting outside these walls. No destination to reach. Only this warm chair, the soft glow of the fire, the peaceful lake resting beneath the moon, and the comforting feeling that, for this little while, You have found a quiet place where you can simply rest. The warmth of the cabin seems to welcome you a little more with every passing moment. There is no urgency here, no feeling that time is slipping away. The evening moves gently, almost unnoticed, allowing every quiet moment to settle naturally into the next. As you rest comfortably beside the fire, your eyes drift slowly around the room. A small wooden bookshelf stands against one wall, its well-loved books resting patiently beside a softly glowing lantern. A simple knitted blanket lies folded neatly inside an old wicker basket. Nearby, a steaming mug rests quietly on a small table, its gentle warmth rising into the peaceful air before disappearing just as quietly as it came. Everything here has its place. Nothing feels hurried, nothing feels forgotten. The fire crackles softly beside you, each gentle sound blending beautifully with the peaceful music that fills the room. Neither asks for your attention. They simply exist together, creating a quiet rhythm that seems to slow everything around you. Beyond the window, the moon continues its silent watch above the lake. The water barely moves. Only the smallest ripples catch the silver light before settling once more into perfect stillness. It is the kind of peaceful evening that asks for nothing except that you allow yourself to enjoy it. Perhaps you notice how different this place feels from the busy world outside. Here, nobody is waiting for an answer. Nobody is asking for your time. Nobody expects anything from you. This little cabin has no demands. It simply offers warmth, comfort, stillness, and a quiet place to rest. You gently pull the blanket around yourself. It feels soft, comfortable, familiar, almost as though it has been waiting for you all along. The chair beneath you supports you completely. Every part of your body feels just a little more settled than it did a few moments ago. Your shoulders rest a little lower. Your breathing becomes a little quieter. Even the small muscles around your forehead seem happy to let go, allowing your expression to soften naturally. There is nothing you need to make happen. Relaxation never needs to be chased. Sometimes it simply arrives when we finally discover somewhere peaceful enough to welcome it. The fire continues its gentle dance, filling the room with tiny movements of warm amber light that glide slowly across the wooden walls and ceiling. Outside, the stars seem brighter now. The forest stands peacefully around the edge of the lake, protecting this quiet place with its calm and silent presence. It feels as though the whole world has slowed down together. The trees, the water, the fire, the music, even time itself. You notice the comforting scent of warm timber carried gently through the room. It mixes with the faint freshness drifting through the slightly open window, where the cool evening air quietly meets the comforting warmth inside. Everything feels balanced. Warmth and coolness, light and darkness, stillness and gentle movement. Nothing trying to overcome the other, simply existing together in quiet harmony. Perhaps this is why the cabin feels so peaceful. Nothing here is trying to become something else. The lake is content to be a lake. The trees are content to stand quietly beneath the stars. The fire is content to burn gently through the evening. And perhaps, just for tonight, you can allow yourself to be exactly as you are too. There is no better version of you waiting somewhere else. No expectation that you should be feeling differently. This peaceful little cabin welcomes you exactly as you arrived. without judgment, without expectation, without asking you to change anything at all. As the gentle music continues to drift quietly through the room and the soft glow of the fire surrounds you with warmth, allow yourself to sink just a little deeper into the comforting chair beneath you. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to become. Only this peaceful evening, this quiet cabin, this beautiful lake, and the comforting feeling that you are exactly where you need to be. As you continue resting beside the fire, it becomes harder to remember exactly how long you have been here. Time seems to move differently inside this little cabin. There is no clock gently reminding you that another minute has passed. There is no feeling that the evening is moving too quickly or too slowly. Everything simply unfolds in its own quiet rhythm, allowing one peaceful moment to settle naturally into the next. The warmth from the fire has become part of the room now, no longer something you consciously notice. It surrounds you so gently that it feels as though it has always been there, wrapping itself around the wooden walls, the comfortable chair beneath you, and the blanket resting softly across your shoulders. Outside, the lake remains wonderfully still beneath the moonlight. Every now and then, the smallest ripple catches the silver reflection before quietly disappearing once again. There is something deeply comforting about watching water that has nowhere to rush. It simply moves when it needs to move, before becoming perfectly calm once more. The gentle music continues to drift through the cabin with the same quiet patience. After a while, it almost stops feeling like music at all. Instead, it becomes part of the evening itself, blending effortlessly with the warmth of the fire, the peaceful silence of the forest, and the quiet presence of the lake beyond the window. Perhaps that is what makes this place feel so different. Nothing here competes for your attention. Nothing feels loud. Nothing asks to be noticed. The fire simply burns. The lake simply rests. The stars quietly fill the sky above the trees. Everything seems completely content just to be exactly as it is. As you sit here, you may begin to notice that your body is responding to that same gentle stillness. Without making any effort, your shoulders feel a little softer than they did a few moments ago. Your hands rest comfortably where they are. Even the tiny muscles around your eyes seem happy to let go, allowing your eyelids to become just a little heavier each time they blink. There is nothing you need to force. Your body already understands this feeling. It recognizes warmth. It recognizes comfort. It recognizes safety. Sometimes, all it has been waiting for is a quiet place where it can finally allow itself to slow down. As you look once more towards the lake, you notice how beautifully the moonlight stretches across the water, creating a gentle path of silver that disappears into the darkness beyond. It is impossible to see where the lake truly ends and the night sky begins. The two seem to meet so naturally that they become part of the same peaceful landscape. Perhaps your thoughts can become like that too. There's no need to hold on to one before moving to the next. No need to follow every thought to its destination. Just as the ripples fade gently back into stillness, each passing thought can simply soften before quietly disappearing into the peaceful evening around you. The cabin asks nothing more of you than this: to sit comfortably, to enjoy its warmth, to listen to the quiet music filling the room, to watch the moon resting peacefully above the lake, and to allow yourself the rare and wonderful experience of having absolutely nowhere else to be. If you notice yourself becoming a little heavier now, a little quieter, a little more comfortable than before, there is no need to wonder why. This is simply what happens when we spend enough time somewhere that feels completely safe. The chair continues to support you without asking anything in return. The fire continues to glow with its gentle, familiar warmth. The lake continues to rest beneath the stars. And little by little, without even noticing exactly when it began, you find yourself settling more deeply into the peaceful rhythm of this quiet evening, allowing every gentle breath to carry you a little further into comfort, a little further into stillness, and a little closer to the deep, restful sleep that has been patiently waiting for you all along. As the evening continues to unfold around you, the gentle glow of the fire becomes almost mesmerizing. The flames rise and fall without ever repeating themselves, moving with an unhurried rhythm that feels wonderfully calming. Every flicker casts soft patterns of amber light across the wooden walls before quietly fading away, only to return again a moment later in a slightly different way. You find yourself watching without really trying to watch. There is something deeply comforting about a fire that asks nothing from you. It doesn't need your attention. It doesn't expect you to understand it. It simply burns quietly, filling the cabin with warmth while the peaceful music continues to drift gently through the room. After a little while, it becomes difficult to tell where the warmth of the fire ends and the comfort of the room begins. They seem to become one and the same, surrounding you so naturally that your whole body begins responding without any effort at all. Perhaps you notice the pleasant weight of the blanket resting across you. Not heavy, just reassuring. The kind of gentle weight that makes it easier to remain exactly where you are. The chair continues to support every part of you so completely that there is nothing left for your body to hold on to. Every muscle seems happy to rest, knowing that for this little while, there is absolutely nothing expected of it. Outside, the moonlight continues to shimmer softly across the surface of the lake. From here, through the cabin window, everything looks peaceful. The trees stand silently around the water, as though they have been quietly watching over this place for generations, protecting its stillness and allowing the night to remain exactly as it is. The gentle music seems softer now, not because it has changed, but because your mind is listening differently. It no longer feels like something happening in the background. Instead, it feels woven into the very fabric of this peaceful evening, becoming as natural as the warmth of the fire or the quiet glow of the moon beyond the glass. As you continue resting here, you may begin to notice that your thoughts have become less interested in traveling anywhere. They no longer seem eager to wander beyond this little cabin. They arrive more slowly now and leave more gently too, never asking to be followed, never asking to be understood. Like tiny ripples upon the lake, they appear for a brief moment before quietly settling once again into stillness. The cabin seems to understand something that the busy world often forgets. Not every quiet moment needs to be filled. Not every silence needs words. Sometimes the most peaceful experiences happen when nothing much happens at all. Perhaps that is why this place feels so timeless. There are no distractions here, only simple comforts, the warmth of the fire, the quiet music, the soft glow of the lantern, the peaceful lake beneath the moon, each one quietly reminding you that comfort is often found in the simplest things. You take another slow look around the room, the books resting patiently upon the shelf, the gentle movement of the firelight across the old wooden floor, the comforting chair that seems to fit you perfectly now. It almost feels as though the cabin has slowly molded itself around you, welcoming you a little more with every passing minute. Nothing has asked you to relax. Nothing has encouraged you to sleep. And yet, little by little, your body has simply remembered how peaceful it feels to stop trying quite so hard. The gentle rhythm of your breathing blends naturally with everything around you. The warmth, the stillness, the quiet music, the peaceful evening beyond the window. Everything belongs together. And so do you. As you continue sitting peacefully beside the fire, allow yourself to enjoy the simple feeling of being completely comfortable, knowing that there is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else waiting for you, and nothing more important than this quiet evening beside the lake, where every passing moment seems softer than the one before, gently carrying you towards an even deeper sense of calm. As you continue resting comfortably beside the fire, you begin to notice something that is easy to miss at first. The cabin has become wonderfully quiet, not silent, simply peaceful. The gentle music still drifts softly through the room. The fire continues its slow, comforting dance within the fireplace. And somewhere beyond the window, the lake rests beneath the moon exactly as it has all evening. Yet everything seems to exist together so naturally that no single sound asks for your attention. They simply become part of the same calm evening, surrounding you without ever interrupting your thoughts. It feels almost as though the cabin has wrapped itself gently around you. The warm timber walls seem to hold the evening safely inside, keeping the world beyond at a comfortable distance. Whatever is happening outside this little place can continue without you for a while. The cabin asks nothing except that you remain exactly where you are, allowing yourself to enjoy the rare feeling of having absolutely nothing expected of you. The fire has settled into a slow and steady rhythm now. Every now and then, a small piece of wood gently shifts, sending a shower of tiny glowing embers dancing briefly before they quietly disappear again. It is impossible to predict exactly when it will happen, and perhaps that is part of what makes it so peaceful. The fire follows no schedule. It simply continues, one gentle moment flowing naturally into the next. As you watch the warm light moving across the room, your eyes begin to feel just a little heavier. Not because you are trying to make them close, simply because everything around you feels so comfortable that they no longer need to stay quite so alert. Your breathing continues exactly as it wishes, slow, easy, unhurried. Every gentle breath seems to carry away a little more of the energy you brought with you, replacing it instead with a quiet sense of contentment that becomes easier to notice with every passing minute. Perhaps you become aware of how wonderfully comfortable the chair has become beneath you. Earlier, you noticed yourself sitting in it. Now it almost feels as though you have become part of it. Every part of your body feels fully supported. There is nothing left to hold, nothing left to brace against. Only comfort, only warmth, only this peaceful evening unfolding exactly as it chooses. Beyond the window, the lake continues reflecting the stars with quiet patience. The moonlight stretches gently across the water, shimmering so softly that it almost seems to breathe alongside you. Even the trees appear more relaxed somehow, standing peacefully around the shoreline without the slightest need to move. You may begin to notice that your thoughts have become quieter too, not because they have disappeared, but because they no longer seem important enough to interrupt this peaceful moment. If one arrives, it drifts gently through your mind before quietly fading away again, just like a ripple crossing the lake before returning once more to complete stillness. There is no need to follow it. Another peaceful moment is already waiting. The cabin seems to understand that rest is never something we force. It arrives quietly, patiently, almost unnoticed, like the evening settling gently around the lake, or the warmth from the fire slowly filling the room, or the comforting feeling that grows each time you realize there is nowhere else you need to be. As the gentle music continues to surround you, allow yourself to simply enjoy this feeling for a little while longer. The warmth, the stillness, the quiet glow of the fire, the peaceful lake beyond the window. Everything remains exactly as it should be. And with every calm breath, every gentle flicker of firelight, and every quiet note of music, you find yourself settling a little deeper into this peaceful place, allowing the evening to carry you gently onwards, one slow and comforting moment at a time. As the evening continues, you begin to realize that there is something wonderfully reassuring about a place that never asks you to hurry. The cabin has no plans for the night. It does not measure the passing hours. It does not ask whether you have done enough today or whether tomorrow will be busy. It simply stands quietly beside the lake, exactly as it always has, offering warmth, comfort, and a peaceful place to rest. Perhaps that is why it feels so easy to remain here. There is no pressure to think, no pressure to relax, no pressure even to fall asleep. The evening seems perfectly content to let everything happen in its own time. The fire has settled into a gentle glow now, its warmth filling every corner of the room without needing to announce itself. The soft music continues to drift quietly through the cabin, becoming almost impossible to separate from the peaceful silence surrounding it. Together, they create a calm rhythm that seems to wrap itself gently around every slow breath you take. Outside, the lake remains beautifully still. The moonlight resting upon the water appears softer now, as though the whole night has become quieter with every passing moment. Even the smallest movements upon the surface seem slower than before, each gentle ripple fading away so naturally that it is difficult to remember exactly when it disappeared. You continue looking out across the water for a little while, not because there is something to watch, but because there is something deeply comforting about simply being present. There are no distractions waiting for you here, only the peaceful certainty that this quiet little place will continue exactly as it is, whether you notice every moment or not. The warmth of the blanket resting across you feels wonderfully familiar now. The chair beneath you no longer feels like something you are sitting in. Instead, it feels as though it has quietly welcomed you into its comfort, holding you gently without asking anything in return. Your breathing remains slow and easy. Every gentle breath arrives without effort. Every gentle breath leaves just as naturally. Nothing needs your attention. Everything already knows what to do. As the fire glows softly nearby, its gentle light continues to move lazily across the wooden floor before disappearing into the quiet corners of the room. Those little movements seem slower now too, almost dreamlike, quietly appearing and fading without ever disturbing the peaceful stillness that has settled all around you. The gentle music continues exactly as it has all evening, never asking to be listened to, never asking to be followed, simply becoming part of this safe and peaceful place where every sound belongs exactly where it is. Perhaps this is what true rest has always felt like, not the absence of sound, not complete silence, but the comforting feeling of knowing that everything around you is calm enough to let your mind become calm as well. Outside, the stars continue shining above the lake. Inside, the fire continues burning gently. Nothing is trying to become different. Nothing is waiting for permission to slow down. Everything simply exists together in quiet harmony. As you remain here beside the fire, you may notice that even your thoughts seem happy to rest for a while. They drift quietly through your awareness without asking to be followed, without asking to be answered. Like the tiny ripples upon the lake beyond the window, they appear gently before settling once again into peaceful stillness. There is something wonderfully comforting about knowing that this cabin will still be here tomorrow night, and the night after that. The fire will still glow warmly. The lake will still rest beneath the moon. The music will still drift softly through these quiet rooms. This peaceful place asks nothing of you except that you allow yourself to enjoy it for as long as you wish. And as another calm breath leaves your body, you find yourself settling just a little deeper into the chair, a little deeper into the warmth surrounding you, and a little deeper into the quiet comfort of this peaceful evening beside the lake, where everything continues exactly as it should. One gentle moment flowing effortlessly into the next. As the quiet evening continues, there is less and less to notice. Not because anything has disappeared, but because everything has settled into such gentle harmony that the mind no longer feels the need to explore every little detail. The warmth from the fire remains steady, surrounding the room with the same comforting glow that welcomed you when you first arrived. The gentle music continues to drift softly through the cabin, never becoming louder, never becoming quieter, simply remaining beside you like a familiar friend who is perfectly happy to share the silence. Outside, the lake rests beneath the moon exactly as it has all evening. The water asks for nothing. The trees ask for nothing. Even the stars seem content simply to shine quietly above this peaceful little place. As you continue resting in the comfortable chair, you may begin to notice that your body has become wonderfully still. There is no need to adjust your position, no need to search for greater comfort. It is already here, surrounding you so completely that every slow breath seems to settle you a little deeper into the warmth of the evening. The blanket feels softer now. The chair feels more welcoming than ever. The warmth of the fire seems to reach you without effort, wrapping itself gently around every quiet breath, every peaceful moment, every comfortable pause between one thought and the next. There is something reassuring about knowing that nothing is expected of you here. You do not need to stay awake. You do not need to fall asleep. You do not need to make anything happen. The evening is perfectly content to carry you wherever you naturally wish to go. Perhaps your eyes have become a little heavier now. Perhaps they have already closed. Either way, nothing needs to change. The cabin continues exactly as it always has. The fire glows gently. The music drifts softly through the room. The lake reflects the moonlight beyond the window. Everything continues without asking anything from you. As another slow breath comes and goes, you may find it becoming more difficult to remember where one peaceful moment ends and the next one begins. The warmth, the music, the quiet fire, the moonlit lake, they no longer feel like separate parts of the evening. They simply become one peaceful experience, gently surrounding you from every direction. Your breathing remains slow, easy, comfortable. Every breath arriving quietly, every breath leaving just as gently, without effort, without thought, without needing your attention at all. There is only this peaceful cabin, only this gentle evening, only the comforting feeling of being completely safe, completely comfortable, and completely free to rest for as long as you wish. The fire continues its quiet glow. The lake continues its peaceful stillness. The music continues its gentle embrace. And with every passing moment, the evening seems to become just a little softer, a little quieter, and a little more distant, allowing you to drift naturally with it, wrapped in warmth, surrounded by peace, and carried gently onwards by the calm, unhurried rhythm of this beautiful night. As you remain here beside the fire, there is very little left for the evening to say. The cabin has already welcomed you. The chair has already embraced you with its quiet comfort. The gentle music has become part of the peaceful silence surrounding every slow breath. Now the night simply continues in its own calm and unhurried way. The fire glows with the same familiar warmth, no longer asking to be watched. It quietly fills the room with soft amber light that seems to rest upon every wooden surface before gently fading into the shadows once again. Nothing rushes. Nothing changes very much. And somehow, that feels more comforting than words could ever describe. Outside, the moon still watches over the lake. The silver reflections drift so gently across the water that they almost seem to breathe with you. Every now and then, the smallest ripple appears before disappearing once more into complete stillness, leaving the surface smooth beneath the quiet stars. Perhaps your eyes have become too heavy to look for very long now. Perhaps they closed some time ago. It really makes no difference. This peaceful place remains exactly as it is, whether it is seen or simply imagined. The gentle music continues to move quietly through the room, becoming softer in your awareness with every passing moment. It no longer feels like something you are listening to. It simply becomes part of the warmth, part of the evening, part of the peaceful feeling that has slowly settled all around you. Your breathing remains calm, comfortable, unhurried. Every slow breath arrives gently. Every slow breath leaves just as easily. Nothing needs to be guided anymore. Your body has already remembered exactly how to rest. The chair continues holding you without effort. The blanket continues keeping you warm. The cabin continues offering its quiet shelter beside the peaceful lake. Everything that needs to happen is already happening. There is nothing left to prepare for, nothing left to notice, nothing left to become. Only the gentle feeling of being completely comfortable. If a thought quietly drifts by, it is free to continue on its way without asking anything from you. Like the smallest ripple crossing the moonlit lake, it appears, softens, and quietly disappears into the stillness that surrounds it. Long, peaceful moments begin to blend together now. One gentle breath becomes the next. One quiet moment becomes another. The fire continues glowing softly. The music continues surrounding you with quiet comfort. The peaceful cabin remains exactly as it has always been. Warm, safe, still, and little by little, without needing to notice exactly when it happens, the evening gently carries you onwards, allowing comfort to become deeper, stillness to become quieter, and rest to arrive as naturally as the night settling peacefully over the silent lake. As the quiet evening gently continues, you may begin to notice that the cabin itself almost seems to fade into the background, leaving behind only the feeling it has given you. A feeling of warmth, a feeling of comfort, a feeling of being completely safe. There is no longer any need to look around the room or towards the lake beyond the window. You already know they are there. The fire continues to glow. The music continues to drift softly through the air. The peaceful night quietly watches over everything, just as it has from the very beginning. Now, your only job is to rest, not because anyone has asked you to, but because your body has been gently moving towards this moment all evening. Every comfortable breath seems to carry you a little deeper into the chair beneath you, allowing every part of you to become just a little heavier than before. Not heavy in a way that feels strange. Heavy in the comforting way a warm blanket settles naturally around your shoulders. Heavy in the peaceful way your eyelids become content to remain closed. Heavy in the quiet way your body lets go when it finally understands that it is somewhere completely safe. The gentle music seems further away now, not because it is becoming quieter, but because your mind no longer needs to pay attention to every note. It simply becomes part of the peaceful darkness surrounding you, flowing gently alongside each slow breath without asking anything in return. Long pauses between thoughts begin to appear naturally. There is no need to fill those quiet spaces. They are peaceful exactly as they are. One calm breath, a comfortable pause, another gentle breath, another peaceful pause. Everything becoming slower, everything becoming softer, everything becoming easier. If a thought happens to arrive, allow it to pass through as gently as the music itself. There is nothing to solve, nothing to remember, nothing waiting for your attention. Only this quiet feeling of comfort that continues to grow all by itself. The warmth surrounding you remains constant. The chair continues to support you without effort. The peaceful rhythm of the evening carries on exactly as it always has. Never rushing, never expecting, never asking you to do anything except remain comfortable. And perhaps that is the most comforting feeling of all, knowing that nothing more is required of you tonight. You have already arrived. You are already safe. You are already resting. So, with every gentle breath, allow yourself to become just a little more comfortable than before, a little more peaceful, a little more settled, until even these quiet words begin to drift gently into the distance, leaving behind only the warmth, the stillness, and the peaceful feeling of simply being here. As you remain here in the quiet warmth of the cabin, there is very little left for these gentle words to do. Everything they hope to bring you has already been waiting here. The warmth of the fire, the comfort of the chair, the peaceful music quietly surrounding you, the calm lake resting beneath the moonlight. None of those things need to become anything more than they already are. And neither do you. There is nothing left to think about, nothing left to notice, nothing left to follow. The evening has unfolded exactly as it wished, one peaceful moment gently giving way to the next, until this quiet stillness became the most natural place in the world to be. Your breathing continues all by itself, slow, gentle, easy. Each comfortable breath arriving exactly when it is needed. Each peaceful breath leaving just as quietly, without effort, without thought. The warmth surrounding you feels wonderfully familiar now, as though this peaceful little cabin has always known you would find your way here one evening. Perhaps that is why everything feels so easy now. There is no need to hold on to these words any longer. You already know this place. You already know this feeling. And even when the voice becomes quiet, the warmth will remain. The music will remain. The peaceful lake will remain. The gentle glow of the fire will remain. Nothing is leaving you. The evening simply continues, quietly, patiently, peacefully. So allow yourself to remain exactly where you are, comfortable, safe, warm. As these gentle words slowly fade into the quiet evening around you, let the peaceful music carry you the rest of the way, allowing every slow breath, every peaceful moment, and every comforting pause to guide you naturally onwards, while the little cabin beside the lake continues watching peacefully over the night, waiting quietly for as long as you wish to stay.